Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, how is the audio? I mean, we occasionally get like a couple of stutters and stuff when we begin, but does the rest of it sound good now? How is the audio? It sounds good to me. I'm going to take that. Nice. Let me just check the audio files, make sure, Jordan, everything is unmuted. You should be unmuted. Good morning, Jordan.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, can we hear Jordan? Can we hear him? Does he sound good? Anyway, welcome in, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. I'm assuming you know who I am by now, but if you don't, I'll tell you anyway. My name is Graham Day. Hi. That was Graham Day, by the way. I just said it really fast. My name is Graham, and I'm not joined by the man that we call Peppiatt. I am joined by the man that we call Enix, aka Jordan, who is guest spotting for the second day in a row. Has Bibby dyed his hair? He has. That's what he is. So yes, Bibby is off this week, so we are having guest spots this week. Jordan is in for day 2. I do have a couple of conversations ongoing regarding the other days, so we may have other people in. If not, it's just a week of Jordan. It's fine. This could be the week of Jordan. Not that that's a second best prize or anything, but welcome in. Good morning. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, as mentioned, my name is Graham. This is Enix, our guest host, and we are Ice Cream, and this, in true Ice Creamy fashion, is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. Anyway, we're going to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games, and we do that each and every single weekday live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads at 10 a.m. Looks at the clock, it's now 11:23. Bite me. I'm joking. It's 10 a.m. ish. It's a big old ish today because Bibby's off and I've got to do a million and one things. And Tuesday is, as most people that will know if they drop in the streams, is usually our busy day. We don't ever have a Tuesday afternoon stream because Tuesday is the big work day. So yeah, I've got a lot of things in. So definite-ish today, lunchtime-ish, as GariClark says in the chat. Exactly, lunchtime-ish. But yes, we do go live at 10 a.m.-ish every single weekday. And if you are with us live on Twitch, it's important that you get involved. We're going to give you our thoughts and impressions on those biggest, the best, and the breaking stories, but we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions in return. If you're in the chat, please feel free to do that, because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So all of the on-demand places that can't get involved in the chat, you guys can do that on behalf of those. If you are watching on YouTube, hit like. Nice. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't hit subscribe, what are you doing? Do it now. Before we jump into the news, though, we have a couple of talking points. The first one is !loot drop. If anyone can just type !loot drop in the chat, you will see that we have a monthly giveaway for subscribers of the channel. We drew that yesterday, and I can now announce the Precision OP3 won the ICU merch prize of his choice. He chose... it's down there. It's fallen off. He's chosen the ICU esports jersey for himself, so he should get that in the next few weeks. But have no fear if you didn't win and you are continuing your sub. There will be another giveaway next month. Do you know? Due to the conversations around it, the thoughts are we give away Valheim. Would anybody like to try Valheim? That was a conversation that we had, so I think that's what we're going to do. If anyone's on PC, we'll give you a copy of Valheim. If you win and you aren't able to play Valheim, though, we will sort you out with something else. Don't worry, we got you. As well as that !insert coin to get 20% off on insert coin clothing, the best clothing in the world of video games, bar none. Well, along with ours, obviously, you know. But yeah, really good stuff. As well as that, shout out to !Elgato and !Muscle Moose, the guys that keep us going. Love to see it. Anyway, jumping through the chat, Steel Bonsai said, morning-ish, everyone. Tito says, good morning, gents. Enix, I know that name. He says, morning. Kulan is here. Welcoming, Kulan. I'm assuming you're going to be lurking, but appreciate you being here nonetheless. Cheers, dude. Lake says, ish. Mr. Bacon Chin is back. And also, with the feedback saying, audio is good on repeat, though. Was the repeat when I was listening, or is it still repeating now? Because, I mean, when it's on repeat, that's usually me listening back to it through the stream in a browser. But if it's not doing it, then we're good. If it is still doing it, then fuck. Bacon says, vibe time. Gary, morning, shaggers. I'll read Mr. GariClark. Bibby's dyed his hair and got more handsome too. I didn't see that bit.
Well, you know, I'll take it.
Bacon Chin says, I'm always available. Is that for the guest spot? If that is Bacon Chin, then we'd love to have you on. Get you on as a guest host. Yeah. Obviously, all you need to be a guest host is 3 things. A camera, a microphone, and your opinions. That's all you need. They don't have to be good opinions. I mean, they're your opinions, so they're good for you. It doesn't matter if everyone else likes them or not. You're allowed your own opinions, so that's all you need. If you ever want to be a guest host, so if you're up for that, Pikachu, we could do that. We could do that. Bonsai says Muscle Moose cans arrive today, providing the driver doesn't get thirsty. Well, do you know what? If he does get thirsty and has one, you will get the rest of them really quickly. So that's what Muscle Moose does for you. You see. Nice. I ordered some of them last summer and they were fantastic. It's good. I really do enjoy them. It's all about the flapjacks, though. I mean, as nice as the drinks are, see, I'm a naughty guy, and these bad boys, peanut butter flapjacks. Ooh, yes, please. Oh, Valheim costs. I thought it was free, but yeah, I could for one. Okay, I believe it does. I think it's like 20 quid. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, we'll change that because we're not going to give you something free because that's a bit of a shit price. But we will fix it. Mr. GariClark says, "Damn it, I wanted to win so I could get a signed Graham Day ICU hoodie." Well, do you know I can sign your jersey for you next time I see you. I'll sign it for you. Nice. I tried them all before, but I want to try the new flavour, so I've gone for that this time. Tropical is nice. It's up there. I still think apple edges it for me, but yeah, it's good. I think you'll find I said good evening sarcastically. Where was this? What? Have I missed it? I don't know. Good evening, gents. Aha! There you go. It's multitasking. I get you. There we go. We're at speed. Good evening, gents. Nice. I think the current deal they have is 24 cans for £22. Don't forget to use our code. Let me just type ! Muscle Moose. I think someone's already written it in the chat previously, but boom. Okay, I can't. That's yeah. That's a nice muscle moose. Muscle moose. There we go. Ice cream 25% off Bosch. Valheim is 15 quid. It's not bad, but not my kind of game. Well, if you've not got a PC, then do you know what? We'll put Valheim or equivalent. We'll put it on. Maybe we'll make it game of choice if somebody's not a fan of Valheim. But you know, it's the game that was buzzing, so we thought we'd go for that. I did actually look at releases coming out next month, so we can give you something and get you guaranteed for before that. But similar sort of thing to Valheim is they weren't necessarily whole of market games. So yeah. Anyway, Jordan, you excited for day 2 of the scoop?
Yeah, I'm excited. I nearly destroyed my 3070 in my PC last night. Funnily enough, playing Valheim, and then we decided we'll just make a server just to cheat, just to test some stuff out.
Obviously,
ended up spawning 9,000 seagulls, seeing if we can do it. And yeah, my mate's PC's crashed, and then mine just absolutely got demolished. So with a 3070 in it, a 10700. So yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, if nobody's checked out, definitely check it out. It's so fun.
I don't think it's a me kind of game. From what I've seen so far, I don't think it's a me kind of game. But I don't mind letting other people have it if they want it. It's nice. It does say on the screen over there, Bibby's home. That's not Bibby's home. That's Jordan's home. So Bibby, as mentioned, is socially distancing away from Jordan. They aren't in the same space. I could put these on the screen. Which I will leave there for now, but as we bring the discussing now slate up down below, it kind of gets in the way, so that is why that says that. Anyway, let's jump into some news. That's what you're all here for. The lead story, I hope you appreciate, once again, my exceptional clickbait graphics that have gone out on social media. If you haven't seen them, don't worry, I've got you. I'll drop the link in the chat so you can go and spam my extreme clickbait internet Photoshop. There you go. There you go. Tick inbound, red X delayed. Yeah, there you go. I know. I'm actually not a designer. I know it looks like it, but I'm not. Anyway, the lead story is around Need for Speed being delayed to make way for Battlefield 6. So let's jump straight into that bit of news. There it is. Opening the source. That's not what I meant to do. Get out of here. Let's try again. Nameplate's gone. It's all going to shit. My God. EA delays new Need for Speed, shifts Criterion to support Battlefield 6. Excuse me. This is written by Owen S. Good, I believe, at Polygon. Yes, there you go, at Polygon. Owen S. Good, not to be mixed up with Johnny B. Good, by the way. That is a completely different person, just to confirm. I do mention that whenever we're featuring, but there you go. Criterion Games, back to working with DICE, will return to Racing Series in 2022. So Electronic Arts will postpone the next Need for Speed game by a year and put its studio Criterion Games to work supporting EA DICE on the Battlefield series, which will debut on the PS5 and Xbox Series X this fall. In an interview, EA's top executive for studios stressed that neither franchise is in trouble, nor is Criterion being taken off its Need for Speed project. Laura Miller, EA's chief studios officer, told Polygon that pandemic working conditions and the Codemasters acquisition, already delivering at least one racing game for EA later this year, made reassigning Criterion a rational call. Quote, Battlefield is shaping up great. The team has been working incredibly hard. They pushed hard last year, and yes, we have been working from home, Miller told Polygon. And it's hard. It's hard to make games from home, and the EA DICE team is fatigued a bit. We have a great game and some incredible potential with this game, Miller added. We're playing to win. We're playing to put a great Battlefield game out in the market. Electronic Arts told investors in November that Need for Speed and Battlefield would both get new games on the newest generation of consoles by March 2022. West, you beautiful man. Thank you very much for the host. Anyone else want to drop a host? Feel free to do so. We won't be angry. I mean, we'll be a little bit angry, but not too angry. Angry enough for it to be okay. It's fine. I'm joking. Thank you very much for the host, West. Appreciate it. We have a great game, and I've done that bit actually. There we go. I'll start that paragraph again. Electronic Arts told investors in November that Need for Speed and Battlefield would both get new games on the newest generation of consoles by March 2022. Battlefield's next game, which hasn't been titled yet, was first mentioned in a call with investors back in 2019. The most recent Battlefield was 2018's Battlefield 5, set in World War II. Precision. There he is, the prize winner himself, dropping the host. OP3. Enjoy the shirt, Precision. A year ago, EA sent the Need for Speed series back to Criterion after 3 lackluster entries by Ghost Games, which was reorganized into a studio supporting Frostbite development. Last fall, Criterion, the creators of the Burnout series, launched a remastered edition of 2010's well-regarded Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, whose original they also developed. Mila seemed to acknowledge that players and fans might take Monday's news, especially coming after last week's announcement that BioWare would abandon development of the disappointing Anthem, as a sign the studio system for one of gaming's largest publishers is having trouble with its assignments. Not so, Mila insisted. I apologize for butchering that paragraph. Steel Bonsai, thank you for the host as well, dude. Much appreciated, dude. There's no way we would have made a decision like this without including Criterion and discussing this with them first and the impact that they could have on Battlefield, Mila said. They worked on Star Wars Battlefront, they've worked on Battlefields, and they've have a really tight, close collaborative partnership with DICE. I'm really confident that this is going to be a pretty positive win for them. Criterion supported DICE on Star Wars Battlefront 2015, Battlefront 2 2017, and developed the Firestorm Battle Royale mode for Battlefield 5. Well, we'll forget the last one. In a sense, Mila said EA buying up motorsports specialist Codemasters, that deal would close by the end of spring, gave the company the bandwidth necessary to make this move. Codemasters shipped Dirt 5 and F1 2020 last year, and 3 titles in 2019. It's due for at least another game on Formula One's annual license this year. Okay, we'll pause there. The rest of the article is up on Polygon. Shout out to Owen Esgood if you want to see that. But the gist of it, Jordan, is that EA have delayed the new Need for Speed game. The teams that would have been working on that at Criterion have been shifted to work on Battlefield 6. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so after the disappointing Battlefield 5, I think this is just a natural progression because everyone's waiting for the new Battlefield. Normally we get Call of Duty and then we get Battlefield after, or maybe Battlefield sometimes before. And it's always the 2 big shooters that releases. And we've not seen anything from Battlefield for a long time. Battlefield 1 was actually pretty decent. My favourite, Battlefield 4, was an excellent game.
You mean Bad Company 2? Sorry, you said the wrong one. You meant Bad Company 2.
I do love Bad Company too, but Battlefield 4 was really, really good. And, you know, people want to see the progression and you know, they said they're focusing on the next-gen consoles sort of with this. So I'm excited to see the player sort of limit being increased and seeing how that affects the maps and the game. As I said, I thought Battlefield 1 was really, really good in its atmosphere, and it really progressed the gameplay well in the series. Battlefield 5, not so much. So this is their time to sort of redeem themselves in a way. And it makes sense. You know, we're in a time of pandemic where a lot of developers are working from home. I mean, it could mean that the Need for Speed project, which we've had one recently with Heat, which is actually a really good game, that could be passed on to Codemasters possibly. And then obviously everyone then can just focus on the Battlefield 6.
I'm going to completely disregard all of the useful information that you've just said then and focus more on the fact that the chat says Bibby's voice has changed. And then Wes says, has Bib's got a new haircut? I can confirm this is Bibby. As we can tell by Bibby, what is the greatest football team in the world?
United.
See, exactly. That is Bibby. We confirmed beyond any reasonable doubt that is in fact Bibby, as you can tell from the football allegiances just there. Nice. Cheers, Bibby. Nameplates on screen. There we go. Enix. Sorry. I actually have derailed myself now though with that. So give me the quick summary of what you've just said again then.
So quick summary was the gameplay's advance from Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 was pretty bad, and a lot of people got turned away from the franchise from that. With them acquiring Codemasters, it could potentially mean that Need for Speed goes to Codemasters to work on for a little bit while everyone focuses on getting Battlefield 6 out, because obviously it's the next big shooter that everyone's pretty much waiting for.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I mean, Battlefield 5 was met with a lot of negativity. I mean, a lot of people enjoyed it. This is not just that it's a shit game. It was a good game. If you like Battlefield games, then you'd have probably enjoyed Battlefield 5. If you were heavily into Battlefield games, then maybe you wouldn't have thoroughly enjoyed Battlefield 5. And I'm speaking this as a non-Battlefield gamer, so feel free to chip in with your opinions if you have more hands-on ideas than me. I'm going off someone that would sit back and see life through the lens of someone that spectates content creators as opposed to being part of the community. And with that content creator, I'm specifically speaking about people along the lines of Wesley, who is EA Game Changer, and was had a massive focus on Battlefield. We've mentioned him quite a few times in the past because obviously we know him, we worked with him a few times. He's a really nice guy. But he kind of gave me the summary that Battlefield 5 was okay. This is me putting words in his mouth, by the way. He's not necessarily said this exactly as that. It was okay, but the Pacific stuff that came right at the end was what people wanted from Battlefield 5 all along. They eventually nailed it at the end, but sadly that was like, oh, that's it. It's just really good, but we're not doing any more. That's it now for 2 years. Was it 2019 when the Pacific stuff came, or was it 2020? Either way, we're mid-21 nearly now-ish.
2019, yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a long time since that content came, which is obviously why he's moved into covering Call of Duty games as well as Battlefield. I haven't actually looked at any West updates on Battlefield 6, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how there's so many narratives around this. It seems kind of like a no-brainer when you look at it from EA's perspective. I would say, I mean, if anyone has any stats that contradict this as well, I would say that Battlefield is the breadwinner. Out of Need for Speed and Battlefield is the one that churns the money, that gets more sales, that has the most potential to do that. Need for Speed, not for me, at least, maybe not for everyone, from the underground days, hasn't quite ever hit those heights again. There was some peak moments with the first Most Wanted, which was still pretty close to that. I think that was still on the PS2. So for me, it kind of makes like absolute sense. It's a no-brainer to move production to Battlefield 6, particularly if Codemasters is part of the EA family. I mean, if anyone follows any EA channels on social media, you wouldn't. It would have been hard for you to miss that Codemasters has been inducted into that. Obviously, it's not fully signed, sealed, delivered on the dotted line, but it's pretty much going to happen. So yeah, EA can set back. It kind of makes perfect sense. I mean, people, I would say, are stretching if they're saying the fact that Anthem was shelved and Criterion has been moved to somewhere else. That it's all panic structures. That's kind of what Owen Esgood mentioned in this article. That is this proof of the concept that the world's largest publisher having that multi-studio setup is not something that can work because if things are going wrong left, right, and center? No, I just think when you've got studios and projects of such scale that things are going to go wrong. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. So yeah, it kind of seems a no-brainer for me. I'd do the same thing. If I had Battlefield, that is where I would put all of my eggs in baskets if I was EA, if that's the right analogy. If it isn't, we'll just pretend it is and we'll move ahead. Nice. Okay, let's jump into the chat first then. Bring on Battlefield 6, says Bonsai. Tito, before that, Tito says, I don't have the creativity to make my own fun. I prefer objective-type games. Horses for courses, mate. Horses for courses. Morning, Garlic. Hey. Morning, gents. Need to fix my notifications, says Gagad. You're here now. It's okay. You haven't missed much. It sounds to me like EA's priority is Battlefield 6, which makes sense with the fact that everyone is working from home, and that BF6 is EA's big fall hit. Get everyone working on it that knows and has worked with DICE, so all teams are focused on it. West agrees with you from the looks of things with the BF4 comment. Still prefer them over COD, says Bonsai, just because, as I said before, I love the realism of Battlefield. In regards to the United comment, Lake says Sheffield United.
No.
But PlayStation and United. This is why the PUBG gods stopped Graham Day getting Erangel. I didn't get it last night either. I played like 3 games, I think, maybe last night. Still no Erangel. Although last night I got, I think, maybe 3 Miramars, or was it 2 games and they were both Miramar? I can't remember what it was. So I was happy enough with that. I don't mind Miramar. The thing that lets the Battlefield 5 down are the weapon mechanics. Battlefield 1 had it spot on, but Battlefield 5 felt way off. Gary says, yeah, Battlefield has to be their breadwinner after FIFA and Madden. And then Bonsai says, another thing that is ridiculous are the items you can buy in the Battlefield 5 store. They're so overpriced for what you get. I didn't know that, actually. That's something I didn't know about. I mean, I've had the last couple of Battlefields and I've played bits of them. Battlefield 1 wasn't really for me. That said, Battlefield 5 also wasn't really for me. It's the same sort of thing for me. I'm quite fickle when it comes to war games. I know that there are so many untold powerful stories in World War One and World War Two, but I want a holographic red dot sight kind of thing is so something where I've got like lasery lights on the lenses, not laser guns and stuff like that, but just stuff that makes me feel like I'm now, not back then. So I played it. It looked nice, but I didn't play it for long enough to notice anything about the weapon mechanics. Gary says overpriced microtransactions from EA? Never. Apparently so.
Well, you know it's pretty bad when I don't buy a microtransaction in a game. I never bought them in Battlefield. But on the Pacific stuff, actually, I remember when that released and playing it, and they got the map really right. Obviously, the choke points and everything were in the right place. It just felt really good as a map. And when someone got the flamethrower and they're chasing you around and you're barricading yourself and there's like 40 of you in a little small bunker trying to fend everyone off, that's what Battlefield's about. And it was just a lot of fun with friends. So they did get it right at the end, but it was too little too late. So hopefully they can, kick off with Battlefield 6 right from the off-go.
Yeah, I think... I made a joke in the article when I mentioned that Criterion were last involved with Firestorm, which was the Blackout competitor. Obviously, Blackout lasted for a year and then changed into Warzone, which was successful. Blackout, admittedly, was pants. Warzone is Blackout's like fully realized form. It would be even harsh for me to say that Blackout was Charmander and Warzone is Charizard, or at least Charmeleon, because Blackout wasn't Charmander. Blackout was just the first attempt. There was no content. It didn't really last very long, but you got the idea. It was a decent enough concept. So maybe it could class as a Charmander. If you don't know Pokemon, then these analogies are probably lost on you. So if Blackout is Charmander, Firestorm was Trubbish because that's what it was. It was not realized whatsoever. Trubbish, for those who don't know, is a Pokemon that's themed on rubbish. So there you go. Firestorm. It wasn't bad in terms of like. Obviously, you get the gameplay of a Battlefield game. Put that into a BR environment, but that one, if Blackout was a land grab trying to get something in trying to get a foot into the BR genre, then I don't even know what you could class Firestorm, because Blackout was a land grab. Firestorm was that, but on steroids. It just wasn't fully realized. So me saying, well, the last time they were involved is a bit harsh, because I wouldn't put the blame for that on Criterion. I would say that was Criterion involved with something that was a bit rushed at the last minute. If anything, this is the exact opposite of that. Kilo Gully, thank you very much for the follow. I just heard that one in a second, but didn't. Can someone reboot Graham? I think he's finally lost it. There you go. No, I think that was like Criterion being involved in Firestorm was a little bit rushed, a little bit too much too late. Not Criterion's fault, but Firestorm in general was rushed. Criterion being involved now, though, counters that. That gives them more bodies. That allows them extra resources to make sure that whatever they do put into the game is not rushed, is not stretched, and does hit every note that they want to hit. I mean, that's probably the reason why we didn't get the Battlefield last year. We did have the year off from the content. Obviously, Battlefield 2018, the Pacific stuff in 2019, nothing in 2020, and that. Taking that extra year, is it because of COVID? Possibly so, but it's probably also to make sure that they do hit it home and have an exceptional quality game. And with Criterion in there, yes, they were involved in some stuff that was a bit naff, not necessarily their fault. That was just the whole thing was just not the greatest planned, and hopefully that going in makes sure that that doesn't happen again.
Well, so Firestorm really felt like reactive content. For me, it felt like the most tacked on piece of content I've probably ever seen. There was so much wrong with it. Like picking up weapons felt real off. It was slow, sluggish. Dropping in was quite difficult, and knowing where you were and how to get around. Just a lot of the things that make Battle Royale so good, Firestorm just didn't really do that great. The
single worst thing for me.
So tacked on.
Sorry, the single worst thing for me when you're talking about things that make Battle Royale feel good was I remember I didn't even like play Firestorm because I watched a few streams whilst I was at work, and I just thought I'm not even going to bother, because I remember seeing people play and seeing people win. And you remember when you get the chicken dinner, or you get the victory royale and everything slows down and it kind of goes over the screen, or you get like the victory on screen at the end of a game of Warzone. It happens, nice. I remember watching Firestorm and people going, what's happening? Oh, they won. Is that it? Oh, hey! And is that like, it's kind of like VAR. You want to celebrate, but you don't know what's happening. It's like, oh, okay, I think yes, yeah, I've won. Is that it? Yes, yeah. And it's kind of like, oh, no, that's not what I want. So, yeah. Anyway,
there's no reward to it, is there? Like, yeah.
You need, that's what you're after. You're after that high five moment. And do you know what? That's enough sticking the boot in. Firestorm wasn't great. We all know nobody's playing it. It's fine. People can make mistakes. And Criterion being involved again isn't necessarily a symbol of mistakes are going to happen. That's probably a symbol of, okay, we've had extra time and now we want extra hands and extra time to make sure that mistakes don't happen. So it seems good to me. GG's EA. I mean, it's a tough call, especially after just announcing that things are going to happen and delaying other things. Arguably, you could say from one side of thing, EA are just being a bit more protective and making sure that they're not wasting time on games like Anthem that are just not going anywhere. They're not rushing games out like Battlefield to make sure that they fully deliver. I mean, how many titles could you say have been mishandled by EA over the last few years? Then taking the time and then making sure things hit home is good for me. More of that, please, EA. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just a quick one on that, if people don't realize like how often this actually happens in the industry as well. So example with Halo Infinite, Coalition are actually helping with Halo Infinite. And if you played with Gears 5, that game can run on a fridge. That's well optimized. Like Coalition are gods in Unreal Engine. And it's just taking expertise from other teams, really. And it happens a lot. So Criterion come on board is a great thing, and that they're taking the time with it.
For sure. Mr. T in the chat says, looks like EA don't have the need for speed when it comes for releasing this game. GG's, Mr. T. Good morning. Good morning. Killer Gully says, first podcast I followed. I usually just stream games. I like your content. Cheers, dude. Well, we do stream games as well. We do this, which is The Scoop, which is a podcast. We go live 5 times a week, Monday to Friday with The Scoop. But we also do play video game content around that too. Obviously, you follow the channel, so you get notifications now when we go live. Appreciate the follow. We do a mixture of games, so you will see. But welcome in. If you want, feel free to join the Discord too. ! Discord in the chat will give you the link. All of the people that are speaking to you in the chat are in there too. Nice. Lol, the VAR comparison. I mean, pretty much. I mean, how many times have you scored a goal in VAR just to be like, can I celebrate? Is it fine? Turns out it was all along, but nobody cares anymore. That was the end of Firestorm. There. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that one, and we'll revisit another story that we'll take the pin out of, because this is a story that we have spoken about before. Get off the screen, names. There we go. Gone. Nice. This is a story that we have spoken about before, so we are revisiting it as there has been some additions. Let me just jump back, actually. A couple of things first. That first EA story, shout out to Mr. GariClark as well, who shared that with us on the Discord. I mentioned Discord a second ago. That story was shared by Gary. Thank you very much, Gary. And this article has been shared by Bonsai. So cheers, Bonsai, for sharing this news with us. If anyone does see any news that you want to share, obviously feel free to drop that in the Discord, as these guys have. Nice. Anyway, jumping into the news, IGN say that PS5 DualSense controller drift, class action lawsuit filed against Sony, updated. Suit calls Sony's conduct unlawful, deceptive, fraudulent, and unfair. And this article has been written by Joe Skrebels on the 1st of March and updated on the 1st of March. Nice. There you go. So written and updated yesterday. Let's start down low and then we'll jump back up. That might make the article a little bit discombobulated. I haven't read through it, but the update will approach as an update to the article. So a US law firm has filed a class action lawsuit against Sony, alleging that the PS5 DualSense controller is defective due to drift, and that Sony was aware of the problem without disclosing it. The suit calls Sony's conduct fraudulent, deceptive, unlawful, and unfair. Last week, we reported on an investigation into DualSense drift by law firm Kimickley, Schwartz, Kreiner, and Donaldson Smith LLP. CSK&D. Nice, there we go. The firm has now formally filed a class action suit in the US District Court for Southern District of New York. In documents provided to IGN, the suit is filed on behalf of plaintiff Lamarck Turner and all others similarly situated, and the names the defendants as Sony Corporation of America and Sony Interactive Entertainment. To IGN's knowledge, this is the first such suit filed against Sony regarding DualSense. It may well not be the last. The complaint describes the PS5 DualSense controller as defective, as it contains a defect that results in characters or gameplay moving on the screen without user command or manual operation of the joystick, known popularly as controller drift. Further, the complaint alleges that Sony has, at all relevant times, been aware of the problems with drift. Hosted Radio, thank you very much for hosting us. Much appreciated. Welcome back. Thank you for the host. I'll start that again. Further, the complaint alleges that Sony has, at all relevant times, been aware of the problems with drift through online consumer complaints made by consumers directly to it, and through its own pre-release testing. The suit also alleges that Sony's options for controller repair are too limited. Quote, when consumers experience the drift defect, the options for a repair are slim. Reportedly, Sony PlayStation's dedicated portal for issues with PS5 hardware, including the DualSense controller, is experiencing a backlog and redirecting consumers to contact a customer service agent via the contact page for PlayStation support. Customers are experiencing long wait times and having to deal with a maze of pre-recorded phone prompts before finally speaking with an agent concerning repairs for DualSense controller drift. The suit seeks a jury trial and, quote, monetary relief for damages suffered, declaratory relief, and public injunction relief. The document points to counts of breach of excess warranty, breach of implied warranty of merchantability, unjust enrichment, and violations of the Virginia Consumer Protection Act. A lot of things in there that are big words. Nice. Let me just keep going further. I'm going to see, because this is a long old article. Okay.
You're near the end.
Yeah, no, I'm just seeing if, because I want to run back up and do the update, so I just didn't want to go through everything. Okay, we'll stop there and we'll jump up to the update. If it doesn't make sense, I'll jump back down again. But updates. The firm behind the recent PS5 DualSense Drift lawsuit is encouraging possible members of the class action to opt out of Sony's forced arbitration clause, potentially allowing the case to more easily reach a courtroom. In a new page on its website, law firm CSK&D explains that an arbitration clause in the terms you must agree to before playing games on a PS5 could be enforced, meaning customers, including those in a class action, could not pursue claims in a court. However, Sony offers a manual opt-out of the clause as long as a letter is written to the company within 30 days of booting the system. CSK&D is now offering a template for the opt-out letter and will send it to Sony on potential claimants' behalf. A recent CSK&D drift lawsuit for Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons was moved into arbitration. Asked by IGN if the opt-out could make the PS5 cases result differ from the Nintendo case, CSK&D partner Benjamin F. Johns replied, "The only comment I can offer on this issue is that this procedure has been used successfully in other contexts, which we think are analogous here." There we go. Okay. So the gist of that, is that DualSense controllers have drift. Once again, these are just comments taken from this. I have DualSense controllers. I don't have drift. Just because I don't have drift doesn't mean it doesn't happen though. But DualSense controllers have drift. The class action lawsuit from CSK&D and claimants claim that Sony knows about this and isn't doing enough about this. The update that we had at the end is that basically these cases are going into forced arbitration. When you use a Nintendo system, you basically opt out of being able to take them to court for it. You say you will go into arbitration to fix things like this. Sony has what appears to be a backdoor in that is allowing CSK&D, the law firm representing these clients, to take to opt out of the arbitration to take it to court. The reasoning for that is that if it goes to court, then you can obviously have it out in the light of the day, not like that, calm down, rather than it just going to arbitration and being settled behind closed doors. Jordan, a lot of words, a lot to unpack. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just think it's proper scummy. Like, there's just a lot of stuff like Sony doing a manual opt out, but that the way to opt out is ridiculous. From the sounds of it, that's how a lot of these companies do it. I know from some companies I work with, they do that to put people off from doing it. And yeah, I mean, it's terrible. Like I said last week, you know, when you buy a console, the controller is a part of that package that you purchase. If it doesn't work well, you know, it's not good enough. Like, I played Apex as soon as I got my PS4 Pro about a year ago, and the controller had such bad drift that I was stood still and my character was 360ing. And it was annoying me. Like, it was pretty much unplayable, and I contacted Sony and they just wouldn't do anything about it at all. And it just really annoyed me. You know, it's just not good enough, especially now that we're so far into different console generations, that these sort of things should have been fixed. You know, like, personally, I don't feel the PS5 was built with care. I think it was a rush console. And you know, like today, my PS5 wouldn't load up. There was multiple colors appearing on screen. And then obviously my trigger broke on my DualSense, so I had to buy a new one. Yeah, it's just not good enough. The console makers have to really put time and care into it, because some people can't afford a new controller and some people might not have the time to send it back. You know, as an example, my Xbox Series S controller, the up on the D-pad doesn't work. It works every now and then, but doesn't work all the time.
What's up with that? What's up with... No, okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so they need to put more care. I just think things are being rushed because of the pandemic. They're not taking care of these things, and companies are just trying to shift the responsibility on the user when it's them that should be taking the responsibility. I just think it's scummy practices at the end of the day, especially now people are struggling to afford a lot more stuff, with a lot of people losing their jobs and all that type of things. You can't expect someone to buy a new controller. But yeah.
I agree. Zombie Boss P1 says, I don't understand. Can you explain what's wrong with the controller? Well, the gist of it is, and I'll not grab the scuff one, I'll grab the DualSense for clarity, because, you know, that's what we're talking about. So the sticks, when you move your sticks, the gist of what is happening inside, I'll put it in really simplistic terms, probably oversimplifying it, but the end of the stick basically sits in a bowl. That bowl has sensors, but to make sure everything moves well, there is essentially some lubricant. Let's call it a gel. There's a gel kind of thing in there. Anyway, that all gets worn away. Bits of the paint can fall into the gel. Long story short, the bit of the stick that's moving around at the bottom just becomes faulty. That's the gist of what happens with the sticks. And it's the same thing. The same system is being used effectively by all three major console manufacturers: Nintendo on their Joy-Cons, Nintendo on their Xbox on their controllers, and Sony on the DualSense controllers. So yeah, that is the gist of it. Luke says drift is an issue that's not going away because everyone uses the same hardware for sticks. iFixit did a good breakdown. I think we featured that iFixit stuff the last time we spoke about this. Very good video. That link in the chat. If you want to find out a bit more, then feel free to go and follow the link. Thank you very much, Luke. But yeah, that's the gist of it. It's the same across all of them, which then makes me think: why then? Is it because it's just there and people are using it? If there is something wrong with the hardware, why aren't we using something else? Is there not something that can do that? Is there something that can do that just as well but costs more? Because, like I said, I mean, either the hardware changes. If this is the persistent issue, and if I'm going to look back at the name, CSK and D do manage to take this to court and win, something needs to change. And it's either the hardware changes, Sony change their policy in making it, and when I say Sony, I mean everyone changes their policy in making it more possible to get your controllers replaced, maybe a longer warranty, maybe the longer game is that, like I was talking about, the last time we spoke about this, I had the Astro C40, I think it's called, the controller on screen, where you can see that you can take out components of the... I'll see if I can find the image now, to show, rather than just give you Astro C40. Oh, there you go, it's still in my searches, so it must have been that.
A lot of fighting game players have been giving them controllers or sponsored because I think it helps with D-pad deterioration when they're playing fighting games, and they're able to switch it out if there's ever an issue.
There you go. This is the Astro C40 on the side. The Astro C40, as you can see, kind of has a little bit Xbox controllery, Switch Pro controllery shape to it, which is not a bad thing. But the D-pad, where the placement there would be where it is on a PlayStation, you can swap that around and put the D-pad down there and have the stick up there instead. So maybe that's a solution. Controllers have that sort of modular element where if your stick shits the bed, you can just open it up, whip out the stick, put a new stick in, job's good. And it's kind of, that's where controllers need to go. If this is the only logical and reasonable solution to have cost effectively, apologies for having the nameplates on screen, didn't mean to have those there, but if that's the only reasonable solution to have that hardware, then it needs to be something to pop in, pop out, because if not, 50 quid a time is what it's going to cost consumers, which is too much. Or it'll fall on Sony. Jordan's having a shower because his camera's either steamed up or gone blurry. Hey, there he is. He's back. Let me jump back through the chat then, see what you guys have said. Excuse me. Lake says, my PS5... Oh, I've lost it. My PS5 is currently about 200 kilometers from me and coming. So this I don't want to hear. It's not a new situation though. This is obviously the conversation is fresh now with DS5s. The issue though is this is a conversation that's quite wide ranging on DS5s, and the majority of the market still don't have. I said DS5s. I call it DualSense. I keep saying DS5 like DS4 was the PS4 controller, DS5 is the PlayStation 5. That's not how it works. It's just DualSense. So if everyone's having issues with the DualSense now, and the majority of the market don't have them, it could be much more prevalent than it ever has been before. Might not be, but you know, it could be just under a microscope. That said, yeah, there you go. Problems in band, potentially. No, the problems were there previously on multiple consoles. It's not just exclusive to the PS5. Mr. T says, love my PS5, but the console or controller doesn't seem to have been well built. I know GariClark has had issues with both vibrating side plates, hearing similar odd things from others. The system software isn't the most intuitive either. I agree with the system software not being intuitive. It's confusing as feck. It's like we were playing... Pez on Friday, I think it was last week, and Top Jizzle dropped in the chat, says I'll jump in. And I'm sat there trying to figure out how to add someone, which was just I was close to picking up my phone because I know how to do it in a very intuitive way on my phone. I know how to do it on the PS4, but the PS5, it's like they've thought, oh, do you know what would be really cool? Yeah, this thing. But what should we call it? Where should we hide it? Oh, let's just and they make good ideas, but then putting them into practice, not so much. So yeah, the software I can deal with. Software does change over time and does improve. Does anyone remember the Xbox 360, the Blades software where they first launched with? Oh my god,
best dashboard.
No, it weren't. No, it weren't.
Best. It was the best. I love it.
So like software, I can see. Fair enough. Learning curve. You've tried something new. UX, UGC. There's no amount of UX testing could ever fully prepare you for being in the real world. So software, I mean, you can do some testing to make sure you get close to it. PlayStation, not sure how much they did, but you can see it'll get better. But hardware, stuff like that, I mean, vibrating plates, what the fuck? I find it ridiculous that these controllers, and even controllers on the PS4 and One X, have these issues, especially when they cost so much, says Bonsai, which is also why I've never purchased any of these fancy controllers like Elites, etc. As I think, one, they're a rip-off, and the amount of people I know who have them and have problems with them, to me, is a big red flag and a no from me. I mean, I will say, and this is not a spawn or an ad. I didn't pay for this. I did get this from Scuff, because they're lovely people and they gave me freebies. Nice. But I have a Scuff controller, and I do find it much, much better to play with. And it's probably just down to the shape or the size of the sticks, rather than it being a better controller for esports in that sort of sense, because I'm not good enough for it to be that much of an impact for me. So when they work, they are really good. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. If it has faulty manufacturing, like, potential, if it has potential defects in the sticks and stuff, doesn't matter how good it is or how good you can tune your player to playing with it. If it breaks, it breaks. So I understand that. I do understand that completely. I would love to buy a Pro controller, whatever you want to call them, but the thought of spending £150 or more on a controller with potential and breaking down soon really puts me off. Completely agree. Completely agree. You have Elite, Scuffs, Wolverine controllers, to name some, and I'm sure would love to have one, but not when they're so faulty as I've seen by so many. I mean, the thing is as well, I mean, I have a Scuff, and I don't use it. I've mentioned many times, the idea of having a Scuff is the paddles that you can map buttons so that you can still use your stick with your right thumb. Like, say if you want to play Call of Duty and you want to rotate and jump at the same time, most people either use their thumb for one or the other and can't do both. That's when you start to get some people will do claw and then they'll rotate and jump. And the idea of the paddles on the back is to free you so you can just use your thumb and you can jump with your other fingers. I don't use it like that because I'm not good enough. So most of the time you don't need a Pro controller or anything anyway. It's just the intricacies of it being a different shape and being able to change the sticks out and the I can change how sensitive the triggers and stuff are. That stuff's really cool. But yeah, like you say, if your stick's gonna break, then what's the point?
On the Xbox side, the Elite Series controllers are amazing in terms of what they built in the Xbox software. So when you get this controller, you can literally modify it just crazily, even replacing buttons on the controller, all that type of stuff. But again, the issue with the Elite controllers is played with build issues, and it gets returned so much. I remember working at Game and the amount of Elite controllers that got returned because they were just breaking and all that type of stuff. So yeah,
I've seen that as well. I have heard extremely good things. Just like I am very, very fond of my Scuff, but I didn't pay for it, so naturally I'm going to be fond of it because it's really good and it didn't cost me anything. That said, I know people that are very, very fond of their Xbox Elite controllers. Numerous people have said that they are the best controllers that they have ever used. That said, numerous people have had issues with them. So, yeah, it's the balance. Anyway, Gary says, for those wondering about the vibrating, I've got FIFA 21 on disc and I put it into the PS5 yesterday and the console started vibrating like mad. I pushed both of the side plates in and the vibrating stopped. It's clear that the vibrating from the disc drive is not working well with what can only be described as cheap and thin plastic that is used on the side plates. It's almost like, I mean, not that you should ever have to do this with a 500 quid console. It's almost like you need to put like spongy bits in, like shock absorbers on the side plates. I mean, But then again, nobody wants to wrap their console in sponge because that's just going to make it overheat. So, yeah. Bonsai says it's down to costs. Mr. Jim Butters is here. Hey, welcome back, dude. I've never had a problem with any controllers apart from the Switch Joy-Cons, which don't bring joy when they drift. but with social media companies, can't escape problems anymore. Be interesting to see what happens with the Sony case. I mean, that's the thing. Is this could be, we use the word precedent quite a bit whenever we speak about this. This could be the precedent that we've never had before. Arbitration has stopped a precedent in that sort of sense. It just gets settled out of court. It gets settled via different avenues. So nothing really changes. So this could be something that changes that if it goes that far. Control drift is annoying, says Amar. Good morning, by the way, Amar. I did see you say hello. Control drift is annoying. I had the problem with my Joy-Con, and I haven't touched my Switch since. Still waiting for it to go in sales. Yeehaw! Good morning, guys. I've had to order new metal springs for the L2 buttons for PS5. Had to do that for PS4 too. Really? See, I mean... Yeah, I don't know actually, because I'm not the best example, because I have quite a lot of controllers. Most of them are packed away now because they were all PS4 controllers, but I've had multiple like PES ones. I've had a few other controllers. I've got PlayStation ones. I've got my Scuff controller. So maybe I didn't have one controller for long enough to experience the issues. Maybe that's why I've not. That said, Bibby still has his launch controller, and Mr. Jim Butters, who was in the chat, his brother still has his day one PlayStation 4, and he's never had an issue with his controller. All his PlayStation is like a proper old man now. So, like I say, it's luck of the draw, I imagine. The controller Gagod is using at the moment seems cool. I believe it's called the Scuff Prestige. I think he has one of only 5 at the moment. Now, I would like to try one. Yes, but the cost is going to be too high for me. Yeah, Gagod has Scuff. I don't actually know which one. He has Scuff Prestige. I mean, I have Scuff Impact. I kind of wanted the Scuff Vantage too, but it looks a bit chunky for my tiny little hands. So I don't know. I'll see. I'm going to wait for the Scuff anyway, because obviously I'm using my Scuff to play PUBG because it's a PS4 game. But as soon as it goes to the PS5 game, I can't use my Scuff anymore because you can only use it's a PS4 controller on a PS5, so I can't use it anymore. So I'm waiting to see what Scuff bring out for the next gen. I bet that vibrating is annoying as hell, mate. Imagine just sat there playing a game and you just hear like. Gary's like, oh shit, it's my vibrator again. Oh no, it's not. It's my PlayStation. God damn. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry. To be fair, it only happens when the drive spins. It's super loud when it does happen. It's like the PS4 again. I mean, it's the new jet engine. That's what it is. I saw a study that showed the expected life of a controller is 420 hours, I think. I think that was in the iFixit link as well that was further up in the chat that Luke posted. I think that's where we got it from, because that was included when we spoke about it last time, which means that on average, I think they worked it out as how many hours a day people will be playing. Most people that have got a PS5 now, their controller's expected life would be over before Christmas this year, which is not good.
That's crazy. Like...
yeah, imagine getting a PlayStation already and then not being able to use the controller by the end of the year because it's out of date. You've used it, it's past its life cycle. That's not good enough. When I was using it, the missus walked in the room. She would wear ear defenders. I have so many Elite carcasses due to faults. West was one of the people that I was speaking to about Elites in the past. I think we had a chat when we were on stream, or maybe you were on stream. The part could be swapped for one that is more robust for £1.25 per stick, which is the same part that was in the DualShock 1 and some version of the 2, and that's for someone like me buying them as a one-off and not in bulk like Sony. There you go. So if they can swap the parts for £1.25, so £2.50 to make the controller more effective at one-off cost for them, it'd probably be like 30p with the amount of bulk that they'd buy it in. Just seems a no-brainer. Say what you want about the Series X and the controller that comes with it, but no major issues. Well-built console and system software that works. And it makes me so proud of you. Both are great consoles, but keep getting issues with my PS5, which I'm hoping holds out till Final Fantasy VII Remake, says someone called Enixai. I don't know who that is in the chat, but it seems a bit odd. Anyway, my One X and controller are both going strong, to be fair. Asim says, I love both consoles, but no issues with the Series X. PS5, nothing hardware yet, but plenty of software, system software issues. Nice to have a shiny new UI and all, but it's very buggy and counterintuitive. I keep getting that rebuilding database issue as well when I'm leaving my PlayStation in rest mode, where I'll turn it on and it kind of turns itself off and then comes back on again and goes, oh, there was an issue, didn't turn off properly. Rebuilding database. I was like, didn't turn off properly, and it was never off. You just turned yourself off, dickhead. Ugh. So yeah, I still have issues as well. Speaking of Martin Butterworth and his old-aged PS4, there he is. Hey, Martino, Bambino. Lake says, thanks for the stream, gotta go. Thank you for being here, Lake. Much appreciated, dude. Yeah, I remember Wes saying he had many issues with his controllers. Exactly. And I know a few people that have had similar. That said, I believe Marky Bamba of Jelly Media fame has an Elite 1 and liked it incredibly, but maybe not. Maybe he was one of the people that it crashed on. Anyway, let's put a pin in that discussion now. Revisiting a news story that we have spoke about before, so we don't need to spend too much more time on it. We will keep you updated on any further updates, but the gist of it is that the PS5 DualSense controller drift class action lawsuit is still rumbling along, but the law firm dealing with that may have found a way to get around potential arbitration and get it into courts. The interesting thing about that, the final thought on that, is you have to write them a letter within 30 days of firing up the operating system. So how does that work? If somebody bought it last December, they can't get into arbitration now because they're outside of the window. So are they looking for new people to join that lawsuit so that they can use those as the people to get around it? It'd be interesting to see how they go for it. I've lost count at how many times that Borderlands 3 crashed me on PS5. Assington Via. Fuck's sake, Asim. West says, it was given one from my brother and have had to send them back repeatedly. My current one is a Frankenstein's monster from 3 of the 5 carcasses. Would never buy one again. Killer Gilly says, I've been chilling in my COD lobby just listening to you guys. Well, thank you for chilling. Yeah, and thank you for calling it a very insightful podcast. We get called a lot of things, and it's not usually that. No, I'm only joking. Thank you, dude. Much appreciate the comments. But we will jump into the next bit of news. This one is something that, admittedly, I have not been aware of. So I'm going to come into this, despite it being a legal dispute that's been rumbling on since 2019. But even this last bit just sounds bizarre. So if you know anything about the history of this story, feel free to chip in with it as we jump out at the end. But this one is written by Sherif Saed at VG247. And it says, the Sinking City developer, so the Sinking City is a game, by the way, the Sinking City developer claims former publisher uploaded a hacked version of the game to Steam. So the Sinking City drama continues. Once again, I didn't know there was drama, but now I know. Now I do. So as Frogwares, which is the developer, accuses Nacon, the publisher, of uploading a pirated copy to Steam. The legal dispute that kicked off in 2019 between the Sinking City developer Frogwares and its publisher Nacon, formerly Big Ben Interactive, has produced another episode. After the game's absence on Steam, it returned in February, only for Frogwares to call on fans not to buy it. Now, the developer has explained why that is. In a lengthy, detailed blog post, Frogwares claimed that Nacon had uploaded a cracked copy of the Sinking City on Steam, removing all mention of Frogwares in the process. Excuse me. As a result of the legal dispute, the game was pulled from sale on Steam, but Nacon's solution, according to Frogwares, was to purchase a copy of the game on retailer Games Planet's website, modify it to remove logos, server checks, and other information it didn't want, and recompiling it. This, Frogwares noted, is the third time Nacon tried to do this, and the second time on Steam alone. Frogwares was able to offer such a detailed explanation because the version on sale on Games Planet was submitted by the developers, meaning Nacon had to allegedly hack the game using a secret key created by Frogwares. What we did is that we downloaded the Steam version that Nacon commercialized, and we used our own encryption key on the archive, and it worked. The hackers didn't even care to use a different encryption key than the one we created when compiling, explained Frogwares. Frogwares added that the version Nacon bought was the deluxe edition, which includes DLC content created for the game, which Nacon does not own. The post goes as far as detailing the process used to decompile and modify the game, and even named the person Frogwares believes did the programming necessary. It's certainly a mess, and is now extended to the game's Steam page, where the two most recent posts contradict each other for the simple reason that both Frogwares and Nacon have access to the Sinking City's store page. How fucking bizarre is that? I mean, I don't know anything about this. This has been rumbling on since 2019. But just the last bit in itself, imagine a publisher downloading your game, hacking the shit out of it to get your logos and stuff out of it, and then putting it on sale on Steam. That is madness. Anyway, Jordan, are you aware of this story? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've seen this a while ago. I mean, Sinking City's not really something that I'd play or that I'd look into. But yeah, I think I just think it's pretty scummy, to be honest. It's these rogue publishers that are just going around like just taking games and then just posting them out there, and just not putting, leaving anything that the developers worked hard on in there. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say. It's just a scummy practice at the end of the day. You're taking someone else's work and posting it. Obviously, we see it a lot with multiple things like art and all that type of stuff. This is just the same, but it's pretty unique one because I don't really think I've seen it that much in the games industry. So for this company to do it with a franchise that I don't think sells that great is a bit of a weird one. I don't know the sales figures, but I doubt it's that popular. Because it wasn't on my radar for a while. I don't think it was on other people's. Doesn't mean it's a bad game. But yeah, very, very weird.
Yeah, this is baffling. Mr. GariClark says the sinking city, more like the sinking ship. Yeah, literally. I mean, I'm playing the video on screen and looking at the video. I do not recognize it. I've not heard of the game, and I've not even heard of any of the issues. But Potbank in the chat says, didn't the game creators put a huge statement out about this last year, like accusing the publisher of all sorts? I didn't know. I don't know if anyone does have any information on that. Feel free to share. But from what we can see now, I'll get rid of the video now because it's not really adding too much there. What we can see, it's a shit show. It's a fucking shit show. Yeah, that is bizarre. Taking a game, ripping off, excuse me, ripping off all the logos and the stickers that the developers have put in, and then putting it out without anything for them. Bizarre.
Well, one thing as well is that I think the devs are really kind in warning people about this because this game is not going to get patched. There's nothing that's going to be added to this game. I doubt it. It looks like a rush job that they posted out there. And it just looks like they're just trying to earn quick money by doing it. I mean, it's not going to get updated 100%. I doubt it'll be updated if there's any issues.
That's the thing. I mean, I feel sorry for anyone that just goes and sees this and goes, oh, this looks good, and buys it. If they're into that kind of thing and buy it off the back of that, they are buying in a game that, I mean, if the developers have been cut out of it, it's never going to get any more development on it. I mean, unless Knack can find another developer that can jump onto it. It's bizarre. Asim says, did they take out a Hideo Kojima game? Oh, wait, wrong game. Shh. It's not good. It's not good. But like you say, GG's for the developers at least for trying to put some messaging out there saying, look, it's our baby, but we're being told it's not our baby. So therefore, if you buy it and there's stuff wrong with it, you're not going to get any patches, you're not going to get any updates, you're not going to get any quality of life fixes. The game's just going to be what it is. They're taking your money and that's it. So not great from Nakon. Not great at all. Which is a shame because Nakon is a brand that I've been fairly open to, not as a developer but as a hardware manufacturer because they've worked with us in the past for ICU Invitationals. So yeah, there we go. Oh, Potbank does have an update. Let's have a look at this tweet. So this is a tweet from Frogwares, the dev of the game. They say, an important message from our studio. The Sinking City has been taken off Steam and from other platforms. The reason for the takedown is due to the actions of our distributor, BBI, Big Ben Interactive, and Nakon. Here is our full statement. Hello everyone, some of you noticed the Sinking City has been taken down from Steam and many other notable stores. We've received multiple emails and messages on this issue. The reason is a bit complicated, yet at the same time, quite simple. Short version, we were forced to terminate the contract with our licensee for several breaches of our agreement. We urge you to read this open letter to our fans, journalists and people of the industry to understand why this is happening and how you can still get the Sinking City. The following information contained in this letter is part of court proceedings, meaning that the information is now public and confidentiality rules do not apply anymore. Since the release of the the Sinking City on June 27, 2019, we've been involved in legal battles with Big Ben Interactive / Nakon over the title. I'm reading this fast, by the way, just so that we can fly through it, because there's quite a lot of words here. In 2017, we signed the Sinking City contract as a licensing agreement with Big Ben / Nakon 2 years after the start of the production. In exchange for a financial contribution to the development, we gave them the right to sell and commercialize the game on 4 platforms: Xbox One, PS4, Steam, and later Epic Games Store. The intellectual property would still belong to Frogwares, which has always been the only producer and owner of its games, including the Sinking City. We signed the deal on those terms, and we would receive part payments for each production milestone completed, then a share of revenue starting at the first euro or dollar. So all was well until the collaboration started. During production, BBI / Nakon was hundreds and hundreds of days behind in payments in total, each sum due on average being 40 days late, while our milestones were always on time and approved by the licensee. We had to issue formal notices multiple times so that we were able to receive the money that was owed to us. The lack of commitment to one of the financial obligations soon turned into ongoing pressure. Once BBI / Nakon bought out a competing studio working on another Lovecraftian game, they dictated that we gave them our source code for the Sinking City. Once again, BBI / Nakon does not own the IP, they are a licensee. They sell the game, not develop and co-create it. After we refused to comply, we stopped receiving financial contributions for over 4 months. This kind of unacceptable behaviour took on other forms as well. With regards to the business plan, we were kept in the dark. We asked on multiple occasions to see sales forecasts, but the figures sent to us were not consistent. We weren't sure of how potential sales could turn out, meaning that we were not able to properly plan our future. Were there any sales deals arranged? We were not sure. Only the exclusivity agreement with Epic Games Store gave us some respite, as we knew what we would receive due to the minimum guarantees in Epic's contract. On June 27, 2019, The Sinking City was released on Xbox One, PS4, and Epic Games Store. That was a great day for us, and once the game was released, we received a letter from Big Ben / Nakon that the milestones were previously approved are being cancelled, meaning that we would not receive any profit from sales of the game. A retroactive cancellation on not delivering a product on time that is already out in the market is not acceptable. That was when our legal battle began. We filed a lawsuit against Big Ben / Nakon in August 2019, and incidentally, only then we started to receive income reports, though incomplete and undocumented. So it was not possible for us to see if the revenue was correctly calculated or even how many units we sold. At some point, we received a statement claiming that one of the console manufacturers hasn't paid royalties for more than 5 months, while actually the same console manufacturer paid our royalties from other games without any delay in the same period of time. Furthermore, we were surprised to find that copyright notices on box covers and storefront pages were legally incorrect, creating a perception that it was not Frogwares which was the owner of the IP. Our Frogwares logo was removed from some of the PS4 and Xbox One games covers and other market materials, and we were only mentioned on the reverse side with the technical partners, again creating a perception that we were neither the authors nor the owners of the game. Dozens of domain names for our Sherlock Holmes and the Sinking City brands were bought by Big Ben without notifying us. A tabletop The Sinking City RPG was created without even informing us and distributed freely, featuring the wrong copyright notice. And finally, when launching Nakon on the public market, the official stock market prospectus suggested that the intellectual property of The Sinking City was owned by BBI / Nakon, while again, The Sinking City is owned by Frogwares. And only by pure coincidence, we learned in February 2020 that the exclusivity contract with one of the storefronts was on the verge of being breached when there was an attempt to release a pirate version of The Sinking City on a third-party PC game subscription service. We were forced to step in and prevent this from happening. We tried to contact Big Ben / Nakon for 11 months and resolve these issues, but we have not received any satisfactory response from their representatives. So during a lengthy and exhausting battle, we finally decided to terminate the contract on April 20th, 2020 because of the numerous above-mentioned issues. Wow, do you know what? There is another 2 pages. I'm going to stop there because that was already enough. Fuck! There's a lot. That is crazy. I mean, obviously, just to add a bit of balance, this is one side of a story. I would like to see Nakon's side. I'm not going to go looking for Nakon's side because, you know, we don't need that much balance. We're just having a look at it. So, but that is bizarre. If that, we take it with a pinch, if that is true as it all is said then by Frogwares, that is crazy. That is crazy. It wouldn't be the first time the publisher has put up a hack game on Steam. Ubisoft did it on the Splinter Cell games because they couldn't remove the no CD crack they made. Gutted they went with Arial 11 font, to be honest. I would have gone for Tahoma personally. Montserrat, font is OP. Next, CD Projekt Red one. Hey. Hello? Oh, is it dinner time? Well, it is dinner time. It's half 12, isn't it? I absolutely 100% not just have a food delivery. I'm currently reading chat. It's fine. This is mad though, says Asim. Publisher / distributor fucked over developer, essentially. Moral of the story, whatever the situation, unless unlawful, give people who worked on games credit and their dues. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Without seeing Nakon's side of things, that looks like company has just come in and just tried to steamroller, thinking, oh, you're a little dev. Fuck it, we can take what we want. We can do what we want. We're fucking amazing. That's what it looks like, which is shit. If that is true, that is horrendous. Not giving them their credit and their dues. It's not giving them anything, taking their stuff and using it as their own. It's bad.
Well, I think it's pretty scummy. I mean, imagine if Nintendo was the developer and they were getting screwed over by a publisher. They'd send, first of all, Nintendo ninjas around your house, and then you get a Mario bomb like thrown at you. So yeah, I think they're just picking on a small developer that they know they can get away with it with.
But they aren't, which is nice. Well, at least I say they aren't. They clearly are to an extent, because this has been going on since 2019. It's 2021, and I've only just found out about it. Madness.
I don't think they would have done this if it was a bigger IP, or if it was a bigger developer. But I just think because it's a smaller developer that, yeah, they're just trying the chances, taking their IP and stuff. I just think it's pretty scumbaggy at the end of the day. But yeah, as I said, there's two sides to the story. So
yeah, for sure. If anyone does want to drop us any notes in the Discord, if they've got anything from Nakon's side, feel free to do that. Obviously, absolutely open for balance. If there is balance not shown in that, if that's not a full account of it, then we'd absolutely will revisit. But for now, let's move ahead. A couple of things to finish up the show. Two separate stories. The first one is, this might be of interest to people that have been watching Rust have huge success over the last few months. The Rust Console Edition teaser trailer released, and a closed beta is coming later this month, written by Don Peppiatt at VG247. It says, Double 11 has given us our first look at a console version of Rust. Let me hit play on that, actually. Woo, loud. There we go. Double 11 has given us our first look at console version footage for Rust Console Edition, showing off the game we'll be playing when the survival hit lands on PlayStation and Xbox later in 2021. Rust's lead developer, Double 11, has shared the first footage of what the game will look like on console, following up on an announcement that was made about a non-PC version of the game way back at XO19. Though we've heard precious little about the PS4 and Xbox One version of the game since it was revealed, it's nice to see some official communication after the game was rated by the ESRB back in January. We covered that at the time, by the way. The trailer has appeared at the same as a new Twitter account. At the same, I'm assuming they mean time there. The trailers appeared at the same time as a new Twitter account emerged, which is entirely dedicated to the console edition of the title. Via the Twitter account, we've learned that Double 11 is hosting a limited closed beta to test technical items, including server stability, that'll kick off from March 29th, 2021. If you're interested in taking part in the beta, you can sign up here, link in the article, and read everything you need to know about the incoming test in an FAQ from the studio. Does that tickle your fancy, Jordan?
Yeah, so I've owned Rust right since it first came out in its alpha on Steam, and seeing it grow now, and I played it last week. I just keep dying straight away. I've actually got an interesting story that I sort of was mentioned to you before about the console edition. So I was just browsing the Xbox store, and I actually saw the Rust beta appear on the store, and then so someone I went to university with, he's one of the 3D artists at Face Punch, and I did message him on LinkedIn and said, "Oh, the beta's appeared on the store. When is it coming to console?" And then he just like, "Shh." And then, like that was it. And I just said, "Oh, can we expect something?" He went, I can't say anything." So I was like, "Okay, fair enough." But yeah, I mean, it's going to be big. I mean, look at Ark on consoles. I think people forget that, Ark on the PS4 and Xbox, even though they run terrible, I think on PS5 and Series X they've been updated. I know definitely on Series X it's been optimized. It's huge. It's got a huge community, and I think Rust will overtake that. I remember playing, and you can just jump in and do quick runs where you run, you quickly find weapons, and you go around just killing people, trying to build and stuff. And there's loads of different styles that you can play with and all that. And yeah, I just think it's turned into a really good game. And, a lot of streamers have been streaming it. Right now would be the perfect time to do it while it's got the momentum in the market. So, I mean, to sell more copies.
It's nice. It's good that the console edition obviously has been spoken about for 2 years or 18 months ish. And it kind of went silent and kind of disappeared and dropped off the face of the earth, like a lot of things do, but it's come back just at the time of the resurgence. I mean, whether that was planned or not, but if it wasn't Double 11, and I don't know who's publishing it, actually. Does it say? Can't see. But anyway, Double 11 of the devs. Anyway, Double 11 will absolutely be loving the fact that, oh shit, fucking the console edition is coming out just as it's having another resurgence on Twitch. So that will be huge in terms of, obviously, a lot of content creators and their audiences. A lot of audiences on Twitch are open to the idea of PC, but only have console options. So that is huge. That is good. So nice. If anyone is interested in playing Rust, it will be coming out later in the year. But as it mentions within the article, there is a closed beta at the end of the month. If anyone does sign up for it, let us know. I would like to know. Maybe. Do you know what? Maybe I might even sign up for it from Iceclaim. See if we can get some console rustage on the go. As Gary says, Rust WD-40 console edition. Yeah, nice. I need some Rust. Not Rust. I need some WD-40 for the door behind me. Every time it opens, you get like a as well. So there you go. Anyway, anything more to add on that one? You sound like you're going to say something.
If you do decide to play this game, I'm just going to warn you. Make sure if you decide to stream it, put the sensor on. I just can't stress enough that they probably will put the nudity in the console version. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people made a mistake with. They were streaming it and then realised that straight from the off go, you've got things flapping around and stuff. So
hi, this is my penis.
So be mindful of that.
Yeah, so if you're after a bit of lust, then play Rust. So there you go. That's the gist of it. Nice. Obviously, keep penises, in terms of service and Twitch and stuff. So if we do play Rust, don't expect to see tickle tackle. That's all we're saying. Finally, one bit of news to finish up with. If anyone's interested in playing Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart, probably the best looking game for the PS5 in terms of using all of the elements that you would expect from a PS5, the 3D audio, the haptic feedback, and all of the next-gen elements. But you're thinking, okay, A Rift Apart is kind of a step apart from me because I didn't play what came before. Well, don't worry, because you can. Chris Scullion at VGC says that Ratchet & Clank 2016 is now free for PS4 and PS5 owners. The first part of Sony's Play at Home initiative has now gone live, so all PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 owners can now claim a digital copy of the 2016 reboot of Ratchet & Clank for free as part of Sony's Play at Home initiative. The game is available for download now on the PlayStation Store and will be free until March the 31st at 8 p.m. PDT or April the 1st at 4 a.m. BST. So once users redeem the game, it will be theirs to keep. So basically, just redeem it now. You got it. Nice. So last week, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan said the Insomniac PS4 title was being given away to thank the PlayStation community during the time of the pandemic. In addition to Ratchet & Clank, anime-focused subscription service Funimation, or Wakanim in Europe, will offer PlayStation users extended access for a limited time, starting March the 25th. Ryan said these offers are just the beginning of what PlayStation has planned for the Play at Home initiative. So there you go. Nice, easy, freebie news for those that have PlayStations, either a PS4 or a PS5. If you want to play a Rift Apart, but you want to play what came before it, then Ratchet & Clank the game is available for all PS4 and PS5 users to download for now for almost a month. You've got until April the 1st to get that downloaded. So go and do it. Help yourself to a free game. Nice. Flapping around.
Oops.
Sorry, what? Says Bonsai. It's penis. It's his penis. Sorry, what were you saying, John?
I've never played Ratchet and Clank really. I know a lot of people have. I did try and get into the 2016 version, and I think I got to the second world. But yeah, I think it's a really good time to do this, especially with the new Ratchet and Clank coming out. As you said, people get to play the prequel to the next gen game. So yeah, I think it's a really good move.
For sure. I've just hit play on it if you're interested. I will skip into like kind of mid-ish so you can see what kind of visuals. Looks really good. Nice. Freebie game? Nice. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's good. I like to see brands giving things away when it's kind of like do you know what? You're all stuck inside. You want something to do. This is a good game. You should play this. Don't get me wrong. The cynic inside me does say that, do they really care about trying to keep me educated, entertained? Is it just because they want me to like this and then buy Rift Apart? Probably. But you know what? I get a free game, so whatever. I mean, I could just maybe potentially buy Rift Apart without having a free game first. So there you go. If you're looking for something to do, something different, and you're thinking about maybe getting a Rift Apart, then Ratchet and Clank is free for everyone right now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news for the day. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of The Scoop. There has been a lot of people over the last hour and 27 minutes. Appreciate you all being here. We do go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, and we will be live again tomorrow. There will be no additional stream today because it's Tuesday and we're busy as fuck, so that's just the way life is. But we will be back tomorrow with more content. So if you want to get involved, feel free to join us then. Before we do go away and come back, this is where I throw it to Bibby and says, anything you want to add? And Bibby would say, yeah, if you guys want to get involved with the show, you can share your stories with us. And shout out to Mr. GariClark in the chat who's typed !socials. You can see that all our socials are in there. Ice Cream Uploads across all social channels. You can share any news that you find with us on those socials or by dropping it in the Discord, !Discord in the chat. We'll give you that link. All we need is a link to a news article and your thoughts and impressions. You don't even need to give your thoughts and impressions. You can just give us the link and you can discuss the thoughts and impressions with us live on the show when we give you our thoughts and impressions the next day, which is usually around 10 a.m.-ish, but half 11-ish if you're looking at it today. Nice, there you go. It's fine. Fight me. I'm only joking. Kilo Gully says, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure having you here, Kilo Gully. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for dropping the follow as well. Much appreciate it. Anything you want to add in before we disappear, Jordan?
No, just everyone have a really good day. And yeah, cheers for tuning in. And thanks for having me again.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. As mentioned, if anyone does want to get involved, like I say, all you need is a camera, a microphone, and your opinions. That's all you need. Your thoughts and impressions. You can signal your intent to get involved on the Discord. It's usually a two-man show. Me and Bibby do the show Monday to Friday. So occasionally we do have a one-man scoop, which we call the Dollop. But Jordan has stepped in to fill Bibby's shoes this week, which we appreciate. Thank you very much, Jordan. Anyway, we are going to disappear. I'm going to eat this sandwich that looks incredible, and I'm going to get set for working for the rest of the day. Before we disappear, though, just in case you're not back tomorrow, Jordan, have you got any final message that you want to end the show with?
Make sure you stay frosty.